Have you ever opened a Bible not as a believer, not as a skeptic, just as a person trying to understand and found yourself thinking, wait, what did I just read? 1 minute, it says one thing. The next, something different. It's like walking into a room where everyone is telling their version of the same story, and none of them quite line up. And you wonder, how can this book be called perfect, holy, divine when some of the stories inside it don't even agree with each other? Let's start at the beginning. Genesis, the first chapter, tells us the world was created in 6 days. Sky and sea, plants, stars, animals, and finally, humans, male and female, made together equal in the image of God. But then in the very next chapter, chapter 2, the same creation story starts again. But now it's different. Man is created first. Then God plants a garden. Then the animals. Then the woman. That's not just a minor detail, it's a completely different order. And you start to wonder, is this a contradiction? Or is something deeper going on? Let's keep going. You've probably heard the story of Noah's Ark. 2 of every animal, right? That's what most of us were taught. But then you read Genesis 7:2 and it says, take with you 7 pairs of every kind of clean animal and 1 pair of the unclean. 7 pairs, not 2. Which one is it? It's not a mistake, both are there. Written by different people, from different traditions, layered into the same story. The Bible isn't hiding this from you. It's showing you. If you slow down and read it with open eyes, you'll see the fingerprints of many hands. That doesn't make the Bible less sacred. It makes it more human, more real. Now let's talk about the 10 Commandments. Most of us think there's only one version, the stone tablets Moses brought down from the mountain. But did you know there are actually 3 different lists? Exodus 20, Deuteronomy 5, and Exodus 34. And each one a little different. One says, remember the Sabbath. Another says, observe the Sabbath. One says nothing about coveting your neighbor's wife specifically. Another splits that command into 2. And in Exodus 34, what God calls the 10 Commandments, you get things like, do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. Wait, what? That's not the version we learned in Sunday school. But again, it's all there in the book, not hidden, not edited out, just layered, side by side. Now let's move to the New Testament. The story of Jesus. For Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. For writers, 4 angles, 4 memories of the same man. And when Jesus rises from the dead, each Gospel tells it differently. In one, Mary sees an angel. In another, she sees 2. In one, she meets Jesus outside the tomb. In another, she runs away and says nothing. In some, the disciples go to Galilee. In others, they stay in Jerusalem. If this were a modern documentary, we'd say, these sources don't agree. But in ancient storytelling, each gospel writer is painting Jesus from their own lens. It's not about accuracy like a news report. It's about meaning. It's about witness. And what about Jesus' family tree? Matthew traces it one way through King Solomon. Luke traces it a completely different way through Solomon's brother Nathan. So which one is true? The truth might be, both were trying to say something beyond bloodlines. They were saying, this is where Jesus fits in the human story. This is who he is to us. Now let's go even deeper. Have you ever noticed how different God can seem from one part of the Bible to another? In some parts, God is mighty, jealous, a consuming fire. He commands entire cities to be destroyed. But in other parts, God is gentle, slow to anger, full of mercy. Like in the Psalms, the Lord is compassionate and gracious, abounding in love. So which is it? Is God fierce or kind, judging or forgiving? Maybe the real question is, who was speaking at that time? Who was writing? What were they going through? What did they need God to be? Because the Bible doesn't give us one single snapshot of God. It gives us a collage, a timeline, a journal of humanity reaching toward the divine. Sometimes with fear, sometimes with AOW, sometimes with confusion, but always with hunger. That's what makes the Bible powerful. Not because it has no contradictions, but because it holds them. It lets them sit there. It trusts you to think, to wrestle, to wonder. Even Jesus questioned out loud. On the cross he cried, my God, why have you forsaken me? Even he entered the mystery. So if you're confused by the Bible, you're in good company. If it makes you pause, makes you rethink, makes you ask hard questions, you're not failing. You're finally reading it for yourself. The Bible isn't a perfect puzzle with no missing pieces. It's more like a conversation between generations. It tells a story of people just like us trying to understand who God is, what truth is, and how we're supposed to live. It's messy, it's beautiful, it's ancient, it's alive. And the moment you stop being afraid of the questions is the moment the Bible starts to speak in a whole new way. So no, you don't have to be a scholar. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to pretend the contradictions aren't there. You just have to show up curious, open, ready to listen. Because maybe, just maybe, even through the chaos, even through the contradictions, even through you,